Hi. My name is Professor Obo. Today I will be talking you through the concept of platform-mediated networks, based on two innovative business models in the vehicle sharing industry. Looking at our planet, we can see ever-growing cities in almost all countries that leave less space for the individual and at the same time destroy the environment. The pollution and lack of space is largely due to our love of private transportation by cars. Vehicles take up immense amounts of space and also resources, which is why some of us have started sharing their private vehicles with others. But why have we only recently started doing that? The reason is that only recently, the creation of platform-mediated networks has made sharing so much easier. But what is a platform-mediated network and how can it help us? Generally speaking, a platform-mediated network is comprised of users whose transactions are subject to direct and indirect network effects. More value it creates for everybody in the network. When applying this concept to our initially mentioned problem of private transportation, we can differentiate between two kinds, along with one or more intermediaries that facilitate users' transactions. This network effect implies that the more active members a network has, the more value it creates for everybody in the network. When applying this concept to our initially mentioned problem of private transportation, we can differentiate between two kinds of vehicle sharing, car sharing and ride sharing. But maybe this is all too theoretical for you. Let me explain this by introducing two companies who each operate one of these type of platforms. I have found Susan and John willing to help me out, explaining these two companies. 2 years ago John bought a beautiful car because he needed one to get to work. He really likes his car, but he hardly can afford the monthly payments. He is thinking of getting rid of his car and getting back to using public transportation. Susan has an apartment in Amsterdam. She does not have lots of friends, but she goes to her mother every Sunday to play chess. There is only one problem. Susan's does not have a car and her mom is far away in Groningen. John, who also lives in Amsterdam, goes to every home match of his favorite football club FC Groningen once every 2 weeks. One option for John and Susan is to use BlaBlaCar, a ride-sharing platform founded in 2006. We will first take a look at the business model of this company. Using the two-sided platform of BlaBlaCar, Susan can ride with John to Groningen when FC Groningen plays a home match. This way she is faster than going by public transport and it's also cheaper. For John it's a good way to earn some extra money. Next to this, Susan and John are having a really good time together during their ride. BlaBlaCar connects them and they become friends. Next, we will take a look at Snapcar, a car-sharing platform founded in 2011. It is a two-sided platform on which people can rent out their privately owned cars. On days when John does not use his car himself, for example when FC Groningen is not playing, he rents it out via Snapcar. Susan uses Snapcar to rent his car on these Sundays. Now John's car is being used even though he does not use it himself. Renting the car gives Susan all the mobility she wants, while paying less than at a traditional car rental. Thank you John and Susan. I hope their example made it more clear what car sharing is and how BlaBlaCar and Snapcar work. But what do the two companies and their network-enabled business models have in common? And which are the biggest differences between the two? Both companies share the same goal of getting less cars on the road. Besides, they both want to make traveling more efficient and provide customers with the opportunity to save travel expenses. BlaBlaCar claims to have a social focus as well. When looking at the underlying concept mentioned in the beginning, we see that both companies operate as two-sided platform-mediated networks. This means that, through the network effect, value is increased by two groups: the car owners who provide their cars for sharing on the one hand, and the people renting a car via Snapcar or paying for a ride via BlaBlaCar on the other. The more people offer their cars for rental, the more people will use the car-sharing platforms to rent a car. This effect also works the other way around. The more people look for cars to rent, the more car owners will use Snapcar or BlaBlaCar to offer their car for rental. Both business models are a mix between an open and a closed platform, as any individual can use BlaBlaCar or Snapcar to rent a car or to rent out a car. But closed at the platform provider role and platform sponsor role. These roles are solely performed by Snapcar and BlaBlaCar. With regard to their revenue model, Snapcar and BlaBlaCar are quite similar as well. Both get their revenue from taking a cut of 15% of the rental price. A difference that can be found is that at Snapcar, another 15% of the rental price goes directly to the insurance company. The main difference between the two business models can be found in the specific market they target. While BlaBlaCar targets customers who simply need transportation from A to B, Snapcar targets customers who are more specific about the means of transportation. Snapcar's customers are usually in need of a personal vehicle. This means that while BlaBlaCar is mainly competing with public transportation means like trains and buses, Snapcar is rather in competition with conventional car rental companies. After having discussed the industry and two of its business models, let us now have a quick look at their possible future. More and more consumers are embracing the mindset of sharing products because what they actually want is not the product itself, but the use they can make of the product. When applied to cars, this logic of the sharing economy implies that people tend to share their private cars with others, because they, just as the other users, don't need a car, but a way of getting from A to B. Hence, more and more people may start using car-sharing platforms. In addition, for reasons of practicability and efficiency, and also because of environmental concerns, access to a car will trump private possession of a car, resulting in less people owning a car. Businesses in the car and ride-sharing industry will have to be prepared to adjust to this change. Even though this development will boost growth in the industry in the short term, it will eventually result in less cars available on the supply side of car-sharing platforms. Therefore, the car-sharing industry might be only bridging the time between a world with lots of privately owned cars and a world in which privately owned cars have ceased to exist. Well, so far our story about ride-sharing and car-sharing. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned a bit about the industry and platform-mediated networks.